All right, welcome to another JNCIE-SP video. This video we're going to be talking about Snmp. We're going to be trying to do a Snmp walk on some lab equipment. So this has been a little bit of a time vortex for me. I've been spending too much time on this. I have a new method of keeping track of the time I spend, and that's just keeping notes here and then having messages for the titles of the video and the tags and everything. Save myself time before I would have come up with those on the fly. I now have them more pre-planned. But you can see this is the first topic where I have spent so far. This will be the 7th video. So I'm definitely going a bit too slow. But let's pull up the Juniper Snmp documentation. So in previous videos, I did use the help documentation, but in this video, we're going to be simply configuring this configuration and doing a walk and then moving on to AAA. So this is for the QFX series, but we're going to see if this will work for an MX as well. Okay, so now I'll need to pull up GNS3. Oh, and I forgot to share my screen again. Okay, so here's my screen. So here's the documentation I'll be using. It's for QFX, but hopefully it will work for an MX as well. So I will open up GNS3. All right, so here's my lab. So I can set it up so that I don't have to keep swinging this link over. I'm going to do that because it's pretty annoying. So I've got to get rid of this link and then go to configure and then increment this by 1. Okay, so now I can add this link back. And now I can plug in a link to the topology here. Okay. Yep, so I'll do Ethernet port 9 on R1. Okay, so, oops, and it looks like I actually already had that because I think I was just swinging it over, but I don't need to do that. I can just simply set up a special route. Yep, so the address space is going to be, like so. If I do a show route 172.16.0.0. Or let's just do a show route. There we go. So now we can see that I have all of these routes. So we know what network, what static route to add to the Ubuntu. If I do a show configuration int GE009, I can see that I will need to put a IP on the Ubuntu Docker. I think I'm going to change up what is being used here because it's the same subnet as my internal network. So I want a IP that's going to be different from that so that it doesn't conflict. I had it set up this way because I kind of wanted it to conflict because I was just swinging the link over. Now I'll be doing a different strategy, so it'll be easier if I change it. Okay, so that is something that is not going to be in use already. If I do a show route, you can see I'm only in the class A space and so I'm not in that space. It's not going to overlap with any routes I've already have. Okay, so now it's time to set up the Ubuntu Docker guest. So ifconfig. So we've got a new port, so it's going to be ifconfig, and then it's going to be eth1 add 192.168.0.2/24. Um, so inet. So I think it's going to be ifconfig, and then it's going to be eth1 add inet 192.168.0.2/24. Oops, unknown host. Okay. Um, the thing is, if I do that, yeah, then it says that the address is the subnet mask, and then that the mask is just a /32. So I'm not sure what it requires. Yeah, so let's look up. So we're going to need to add it to a file. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure you add network settings through the etc network hosts file. I would like to do it that way. Oh, I need the term netmask. Okay, okay. I've config eth1 add 192.168.0.2 netmask 255.255.255.252. There you go. I've config. That's what I was missing. So, oops, but it's still messed up. So let's do a delete, and then let's go back to what I did before. Yeah, this. Let's do a delete on that as well. Take a look at ifconfig now. And we can do, of course, ifconfig eth1. So ifconfig del eth1. So why is the, okay, so this looks right, but looks like we've got multiple IF configs. Let's see if I can ping the other side of that link. I don't think I have it cabled up yet. Oh, I do have it cabled up. Okay, so we're good to go. Now I just need to add the route -net, and then I want access to the loopbacks. So it's going to be this 172 space. So that's 16.0.0, and then it's going to be 255, 255, 255. So we've got, it can be a /29, allowing for 0 through 8, because we're only going up to 4. So it can't be a /30 because it would overlap into the next subnet. A /29 is the longest one we can use. So that's a 248. Now we need a gateway, which is going to be 192.168.0.1. Oh, so it's okay, it's slash prefix, it's not. So it's /29. Perfect. So now I should be able to ping all of those addresses. Yep, and I won't have to swing that link over. So this is a much more convenient way for me to continue on with this lab. So let's do that. We're going to configure Snmp on all of the devices. Let's see what happens if I do a Snmpwalk. Oops, so, oh, it looks like it got rid of my configuration on here. It did not persist across reboots, but I still have access to the public internet now, so I can just get that. So unable to locate Snmp. I think it's, I think I can do apt, yeah, apt cache search. Yeah, and then help. Yep, and then search. So Snmp. So let's do a apt get update, and then a search for Snmp. Now I'm surprised it's matched for TCP dump because I don't see Snmp anywhere there. Okay, so now that's been updated. We've got much better options. Let's go with, I'd like to go with a Python Snmp, but I'm just worried that I won't have that available during the test. I want to use whatever I can use during the test. So I think this will be fine. Yeah, so we'll just go with the simpler solution. Okay, so this is what I was looking at before that I wanted to configure. So by default, Snmp is disabled on devices running Junos OS. To enable Snmp on a router switch, you must include the Snmp configuration statements at the edit Snmp hierarchy level. To configure the minimum requirements for Snmp, include the following statements. So all you need is the community to get Snmp to work. The community defined here is as public, grants read access to all MIB data to any client. So let's just start there. Last video, I think I was kind of worried about having to configure Snmp on every device because I thought that I needed to configure all of this here, but it looks actually a lot easier than I thought. So I'm going to give it a lot less time than I thought it would be due. So let's do SSH 172.16.0.1. Oh, so let's set up SSH on all of the devices. This will be a good practice too, because this is definitely going to be on the test. And let's do it the interesting way. And let's generate a host key and disable password authentication. Oops, so that new line character isn't going to work in there, but I don't have to have that in there. I can do an up arrow. Yep, and then start over again. So I've ruined everything, but I can just up arrow and then put in the last one. There you go. I think there might be an extra space though. Okay, yep, there's an extra space here. So one thing I think I'm going to do is make it easy on myself and do a file transfer instead of just pasting in the key. So, and I think it will be a good learning exercise for me to figure out how that works. So let's do a rollback 0 on that. I've got a mistake in there anyway. Do edit system, login user, my name, authentication. So we're going to do set load key file. So now we're going to need to give it a URL containing one or more SSH keys. So we'll need to enable a service to allow us to pull in the key from that URL. So got FTP. I think we'll be able to do that. Now FTP is not compatible with common criteria, so enabling that is a violation of secure standards. So I guess I'd rather use something that allowed compliance with that. So looks like I might be able to use REST. So now I can do a URL. So I've got REST enabled. So oops, and my laptop overheated, I think. Yep, my laptop overheated. So my laptop overheated, but it looks like it's back. Yeah, it's quite hot. It's like I can't leave my hand on it without it burning my hand pretty much. But let's continue going. Let's do a Control-Alt-Delete on there and see. Yeah, let's see how maxed out it is. So, oh, it actually looks like it's not super maxed out. It's only at 50 CPU, 69 memory. So I guess memory is where it's having trouble. All right, I think the main problem is it's a little bit older by now, so the fan is dead on it. But I think we can do a we can do a curl on here. So the file, this is going to be a URL. It's going to be HTTPS, and then the IP address, and then it's going to be this will go to the home directory, I believe, but I can just do the, so it'll be .ssh id rsa.pub. I believe that's how that works. Oops. Oh, okay, so it's going to automatically, once I enter this in, it'll try to pull from that. But I need to be allowing it to be pulled on here. Oh, okay, so here's RPC. So this file contains user-readable names that can be used in place of RPC program files. So I just want to transfer a file. I can do it with FTP, but FTP is not compliant with common criteria if you enable it. So I would like to use something that appeared to be. But as far as I know, it could be that RPC is not compliant either. All right, so here's the guide. Let's see where it talked about. So telnet was in that list. Aha, here we go. So yep, RPC is not on this list, so that's going to be a proper way to send that file over, assuming we can do it through RPC. Yep, so we're going to need to enable HTTP, but I believe this will work. All we need to do, so I'm going to go show pipe compare, and I'm going to get rid of this. It was incomplete anyway. And then I'm going to go back to edit system login user. Okay, and now set load key file HTTP. So I've got to set up HTTP. So this is editing the configuration, but I want to send a file. One thing I think I can do is get help on this load key file. Yeah, so this is going to be a much better thing to look for, I think. Oops, but there's nothing there. There's not even a C also included there. So this is unfortunately a dead end. Well, I'm tempted to just use FTP because the point was to save work. So if I'm not doing that, that could be a problem. The point isn't necessarily to be compliant with common criteria. It's just to save me a little bit of work that I would have had to manually add those keys. I want to do it in a more programmatic way. Oops, but I can't do that. Let's do a top, show pipe compare, edit system services, set FTP, commit. All right, now try that same command. There we go. So we're connected there, but oops, we don't have. Oh, we need a password required, and I don't have the password. Oh, yeah, I do. Oh. Ah, so yep, I do have the username for, or the password for the username root. So let's send over the file. So it's set successfully. Let's do a close and then a quit. So the file, I believe, is going to be somewhere. I thought it would be somewhere, but it looks like it is not somewhere. Oops, so actually it looks like it was not successful. I did not specify the name of the remote. So let's try that again. So there we go. We've got it. It's going to be called server pub key. So now if I do a file list, we've got it showing right there. So now I can do a configure private edit system login user authentication set load key file, and it's going to be server pub key. Up, commit. Oops, got to do a class set system login user myself class super user commit. All right, and we're all good to go. I can now do a file delete on that because it's already loaded in. You can see I've still got it loaded in. We don't need it just sitting there. There we go. So now let's do a SSH myself at 172.16.0.1. Oops, and we still got connection refused because we do not have SSH enabled. So let's do edit system services and a show pipe display set relative. So we can have FTP on there temporarily, but then disable it. And now that it is disabled, it is compliant with common criteria, even though it was previously enabled. It was just a temporary thing. So yeah, I think where you're not compliant with common criteria is where you just leave it enabled. It's okay to use it. I'm sure there are more secure preferred ways to do it, but as long as it does not persist on there, especially not during the inspection, it is okay to use FTP. All right, so let's do router 1. So I can use the config. So all I've got are system services and then the user. So let's move on to router 2. I'll need to enable FTP. So here, let's do FTP. And it will be open 172.16.0.2, but not before I enable the service. We can already see this was a much more convenient way of doing this. It's a little bit of time up front, but it's going to save me time later. Oops. Oh, so this isn't correct. We've got to do set system services FTP. Yep, and now commit that. And now we can open the connection. And then we'll be sending the file here. But before I send that, oh, actually, no, I can just send that right now. Oh, I did a get. I've got to do a send. Perfect. So everything's good to go. We'll do a set system login user. Then we'll do a class super user. And now we'll do a authentication load. And that's going to be server pub key commit exit file list file delete server pub key. And we're good to go. Everything is good to go. One final step though, we've got to delete system services FTP and then set system services SSH, commit and quit. And we can see just how much easier that is. Instead of copying and pasting it from a notepad, we've got it transferred through FTP instead, and it was a lot easier. So let's make sure that works. And it does. So we've got 2 more to go. Okay, much easier. Now we've got our 4. Last one. Oh, okay, nope, no bug. So close, and then it will be, oh, so I did miss a step on R3 though. I forgot to disable FTP. It's going to be important for it to be compliant with security standards. Oh, and I also forgot to enable SSH. Perfect. Just verify that. Well, I won't need to verify it. I'll verify them all in one step. Oh, I forgot to commit. All right, so everything is all set. Let's do a verification that both of those are reachable now and do not require authentication. Perfect, so this one is good. All right, and this one is good as well. So we're good to do an Snmpwalk to set up the configuration required for Snmp. The minimum, most basic configuration is only going to require a community string. Okay, so this is the guide I will be using. All right, so let's set it up. Okay, so now we've got community strings, so let's try Snmpwalk. So the syntax for this command is going to be options and then agents. So So let's set the community string and then the host name of the device and then the OID. Oops, so no security name specified. Oh, so let's specify the version to 2C. There we go. Ah, so now we're doing a successful Snmp walk on this device. It's going to be a lot of information. Let's do a sniff of this link. So there's just going to be a lot of information. It might even crash the server just with the flood of information, but we will see those Snmp packets. Yep, so here they are. Lots of Snmp packets, lots of information. This is actually not something I would ever advise doing, just doing a full white walk on the device. If it's a production device, on the lab, it's kind of nice to do actually because it will just tell you all of the OIDs you have. So I do recommend doing this just on your lab device because you can write down all of these strings and then use them later. Snmp can be really helpful for automation efforts. But in the lab, I definitely would never recommend, or sorry, in production, I definitely would never recommend doing this, even if you have policers on your management network that prevent yourself from oversaturating the link with management traffic. So I think I'm willing to say in this video that I am done with Snmp. Kind of a little bit of a lighter exploration into it, but I think that's enough for me. So this is video 7. Video 8, we'll be moving on to AAA. I'd love to just do it and get it done right now, but I think it will have to be either the lunchtime video or the morning video tomorrow, where I work on that, because I'm getting a bit tired right now. So let's take a look at that walk. Yep, it's still going. So let's do a Snmp get on something that looks more interesting. So yeah, finding these ISO identifiers is kind of difficult. You can use documentation to look them up. This is an ISO standard. So yeah, I think we're all good to go. So that's going to be the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.